so loud. Welcome in, everybody. It is 5:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 6th, 2026. It is the 12th episode of Tour of Japan here on bodyslam.net. My name is Max Hindenburg. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Blackhawk, as we have some pretty big topics here to talk about on this Friday evening here. AJ Styles out of WWE. We're going to break down if there's a possible Japan run left in AJ Styles. We're going to talk about Hiromu Takahashi, a big person in New Japan, leaving the company. He is one of many since the year has started that is leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll talk about what a run looks like for him in WWE, as well as Noah. We're also going to preview New Japan's really second biggest show of the year so far, New Beginning, which will be on February 11th. So next week on the podcast, we'll do a full review, but today we'll preview that show. But Blackhawk, how you feeling as it is already February here in 2026?
Yeah. Crazy that it's already February. I don't get how fast this year is moving already, and we just started.
Yeah, it feels like we were just here talking about the Tokyo Dome, and now it is a full month later now, and years, months, days go by so quick. So welcome, guys, everyone in here to the podcast. If you're new, welcome. Please follow us across all of our social media platforms, which is Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as TikTok. That's all the ways you can also watch our podcast every single Friday. We also follow your guys' chats here in the comments. So you guys have any comments or any things you hear about on our podcast, even if it's not Japanese pro wrestling related, we'll bring it up. We'll have a fun discussion. The show is always more fun. Obviously, Blackhawk and I can have a good time chatting up for an hour, but it's always more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. So please join us as well. Like the video whenever you can, if that's on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch. Really help, and Facebook really helps support us, gets our videos out to more people. So let's just get underway here, Blackhawk, with the biggest topic, I think, which is the AJ Styles situation. So again, if you're new to the podcast, we cover Stardom, New Japan, Noah, and Marigold here every single Friday. But this is a big topic, which is AJ Styles technically retired this past Saturday, a week ago at the Royal Rumble. He lost to Gunther. And after the match, where it felt like it was going to be kind of a retirement match for AJ, we'd never see him wrestle again. He did put the gloves back on at the end of the match, signaling that there is still more left to do for AJ Styles in the world of pro wrestling. He basically said that 2026 was going to be his last year of wrestling. But WWE kind of rushed out there was on a full retirement tour. He got one last match with Shinsuke Nakamura where they kind of hit the buttons from their New Japan Wrestle Kingdom match from a decade plus ago, which is crazy to say. AJ wore like his Bullet Club mask that he wore to the ring, and he did this. The same time Nakamura did the come on. They did a lot of the similar moments. But then AJ just lost to Gunther. And I think a lot of people were nervous, like, is that really how AJ Styles' in-ring career will end? But many people believe it, and I agree. I think it's far from over. I think there's a lot of possibilities for him in 2026. But the thing that we want to talk about, because we are Tour of Japan, is would he want to do one final run in Japan? Obviously, it would be in New Japan. He has not wrestled in New Japan since I think it was Wrestle Kingdom in 2016 was the last time he wrestled. So it's been, a decade ago since he's last wrestled for New Japan. He was there for a couple of years after his last stint in TNA. I think a lot of people, Black Hawk, originally thought he'll just end his career doing one match in TNA. Hey, Moxley, thanks for joining us. I know it's an early episode. We both felt like, let's just do it. We're feeling
Just
good.
do it.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people said, well, AJ Styles, he'll finish his career in TNA. But the reports were WWE would have been fully cool with him having a last run in TNA. They have a relationship with TNA. He wouldn't need to leave WWE to do a TNA run. So it feels like, again, I speculated on the podcast they could do an AJ Styles AEW run. Who knows? But what are your thoughts on this whole AJ? Before we can get into Japan, do you think you can do that? Just what are your whole thoughts on this AJ Styles situation?
I have a feeling he'll do sort of a retirement tour and hit all of his biggest spots.
Yeah.
Which, Ring of Honor was one of those. And so I assume he'll hit an AEW, time frame. I don't think he'll be there forever. Definitely not much longer than a couple months, but I think he'll hit a portion of AEW Ring of Honor. I think he'll hit a couple weeks in TNA. He'll, come in, announce a match with TNA, and then do it maybe a week or two later at one of their big events.
Yeah.
Join AEW here and there a couple weeks, and then jump to New Japan. Maybe not in that order, but fluctuation of all these things. He'll move around and kind of hit all of his big places that people love him at. I'm looking forward to 2026 if he decides to keep going. He could just do a TNA run and call it and just say, I wanted to wrestle one last time in TNA against the champion. And then if he loses that, that's it. Because TNA was a huge part of his career. And I know a lot of the TNA diehards would love to see him back just on one match.
I don't disagree with you. I think in his dream, he would like to do a lot of things in 1 year. You know what I mean? I think he wants to not just work for one company and work for years. I think he does believe that he wants to wrestle, one more time in TNA, like one match. I think it would be like a Mike Santana match, a guy he's never wrestled before. I do see him, I know we said 2026 is the year. I still think technically he could end his career at Wrestle Kingdom January 4, Tokyo Dome, have one last match, and that's kind of his like WrestleMania, quote unquote, go out on top mode where there's 50,000 people in the attendance. He could wrestle someone he's never wrestled before, if that's like a Suji or someone like that. I think it's very fascinating. And as I said, he hasn't wrestled since Wrestle Kingdom in 2016 against Nakamura, funny enough, who both left for WWE around that same time. I do see a path. I think if he does AEW, I think for sure that will allow him to do New Japan dates as well with their relationship. I think TNA is now weirdly not 100% anymore. I think he didn't have to, be out of a WWE contract to work TNA. I think if he stayed on WWE for the whole year, he could have worked TNA for the majority of the year. I don't think WWE would have really cared that much. I think if it's very weird, it seems like I think if they knew he was really going to be gone, they would have given him more of a true retirement, not like a tour, but like they didn't have anyone come out of the locker room and clap for him. It was kind of like he was by himself.
Yeah, he's done now. That's it.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's no bad blood. He was on Stephanie McMahon's podcast this week. It was a very good episode. I think, if I'm not mistaken, his contract is up sometime in February. I did speculate. If I were him, I would debut closing out the show at Revolution, like being the person who comes out to end the show. A lot of people, and I thought too at the time, that Kenny Omega would be the perfect opponent, like have Kenny beat MJF. But again, Kenny, first of all, is not going to be in the country for Revolution, if I'm not mistaken. He's doing something in Japan for like a video game something. So I don't think that's why he lost to Andrade, and that's why he's not going to be fighting at Revolution. But I still think AJ Styles MJF is a great possibility. I think a lot of people like me would love to see AJ Styles versus Will Ospreay at Wembley Stadium this year. Have Ospreay win the world title. Maybe it's off AJ Styles. Maybe it's just the world title match at All In. Because AJ, he's worked if you look at his career, he really has worked every single major wrestling company in the world. He worked WCW. He worked TNA. He worked Ring of Honor. He's worked AAA and CMLL before. He's worked WWE, as I said, ROH, and New Japan. He's worked all of the big major promotions except AEW. He has very close connections still with AEW. During his one of his last matches in December, a fan tried to get him to sign an AEW belt. And he just said, "Matt, Nick, love you, but I can't sign this." I do think there's real possibility because in AEW, it's the benefit of he can wrestle people he's already wrestled before, like a Samoa Joe, for example, that have great history with. But he also has never wrestled Swerve before or MJF before, some of these top talent for AEW. So there's real potential to have a balance of rekindling some old rivalries, but also wrestling people he's never wrestled before. Very similar to when Danielson came over, where he got, you've seen him against Moxley and Punk and all the other people before, but he had never wrestled Swerve or Hangman or Omega before. So there was a lot of, must see. So if I still think he's going to do AEW. For some reason, I do have that belief. I think once that happens, he'll work New Japan towards the end of the year. I think the tough part too, Blackhawk, about him bouncing around companies is I don't think AEW will just let him, they need a contract in the fine print if he's going to do AEW. They're not going to put him on TV if he's working a couple dates and not fully on the roster. I don't think. I don't think they're going to sign him for 2 or 3 appearances just to then just go back to TNA. I could be wrong. I just don't see that. I think if I were them, again, the reports are they're going to make a massive offer to him once his contract is officially up. But yeah, do you think AEW, if you had to bet right now, is that where you think he's landing if he's going anywhere?
Yeah, I would say yes. Because like you said, if he was going to do anything with TNA, really, he could have done it while he was with WWE because they are very, very tight right now. And so, I think he's got till the end of February. We might see him finish up something in TNA this month.
Yeah, they could do that
this month, and then once he's gone, he could be, dub bound. Because you talked about the contracts. I don't think that Tony Khan would, limit somebody like AJ Styles to a contract.
Okay.
Kind of like that because Tony Khan's a tape trading mark. He's
sure.
I know he loves AJ Styles. There's no doubt in my mind. And so I don't think he would because AJ's expressed a lot recently that he wants to spend more time with his family. And so I don't think he would tie him down with a contract, but I think he would pay him for multiple dates.
Sure.
At the very least, pay him for 6 months worth of dates. Just doesn't have to be on full contract. Yeah.
I think he would pay. I think they would do if it's in March, I think they would do an 8 to 9 month contract. And the reason why I'm saying that is that's the benefit of AEW to what you're saying, which is he basically really needs to work once a week, 2 weeks max. You know what I mean? It's not like he's on the road. He's not traveling. He's really just going to Dynamite and that's it. That's kind of the benefit of AEW compared to WWE. Even though WWE has gotten rid of a lot of live events, that's kind of what it's become. But there's no, those international. They were on the road for I think 15, 16, 17 consecutive days traveling. Yeah. It ended up Saudi Arabia was the last destination. So, and they all went to Raw, and then that's when they could go home after Raw. So it was a very stressful 3 weeks kind of for all those people. But that's a rarity for WWE these days. But I still think there's a benefit for him. He could still do 8 months. And the AW contract will allow him to also work New Japan as well.
Right.
So I think that's what kills 2 birds of stone. I think the TNA thing is really, I don't think there's Mike Santana's kind of the match. I think Mike Santana or Leon Slater. feel like two people that feel like the only two right people for him to have a match with in TNA at this point. But I agree with you. Like, again, that's the problem. Like, Bound for Glory is like an October pay-per-view. So that's like down the road, right? You wouldn't want to use AJ on. You would really only want him on a Slammiversary or a Bound for Glory show if you're going to see him wrestle, right? You don't want to see him wrestle on just another episode of TNA on AMC. You would want to use that on a Slammiversary, on a Bound for Glory. Slammiversary is usually in like July-ish territory, and Bound for Glory is usually an October pay-per-view. So that's tough, right, to kind of put that in, because I think he could easily debut again for AEW at Revolution. It's a huge arena as well. They're running, again, the Crypto.com arena, which was Staples Center. So it's the biggest arena in LA. So I think it's a good chance to like have him pop up. And AEW really hasn't had a moment like that in so long where like, wow, this person's in AEW, like in a really long time, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like, that used to be the thing for AEW. Like, the shows would end and someone random would pop up at the end. You're like, wow, this person, it just changes everything for the company.
Yeah.
I do think Tony Khan would love to run AJ and Ospreay at Wembley Stadium. I think that's like the ultimate thing. I'm not sure if AJ has ever run Wembley Stadium before. But if he could,
I don't think so, because I don't think WWE ever ran Wembley.
So if he could do like Wembley and maybe the Tokyo Dome in the same year, to wrap up, I think that's a couple good things for him to do to wrap up his career. In New Japan, like outside of Tsuji, like, do you have anything in mind, like what a run would look like? Because again, there's no more Bullet Club anymore. A lot of those guys are done with the company now at this point. We'll talk about that in a second. But is there a particular storyline or wrestler or anything in particular you think you would want to see out of him in a? Is it like a Tokyo Dome main event that has to be for him, or just getting on the card? Like, what do you think?
I don't know if he would main event, because all due respect to AJ Styles, he's not as important as Hiroshi Tanahashi was to the company.
Yes.
But I would love to see him in, one of those top spots. I don't know how I would run a story with AJ Styles in New Japan. Especially because my first thought would have been to run him against some of the Bullet Club members, but it doesn't look like they'll have any Bullet Club members by the time AJ would get to New Japan.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know what they would do. I still think Gabe Kidd would stay. I would love to see him wrestle Gabe Kidd.
Yes.
Tsuji, obviously. There's a handful like Goto. I want to see him wrestle Goto now.
Yeah. They wrestled
like,
in 2014, I think, was their last one. Yeah.
And so there's like a handful of guys on the roster I would love to just see him have a match with. I don't know if there's any like particular story I would run with it, other than AJ Styles is back, and we're just giving him the best that we've got.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I think the Bullet Club story is all AEW, because he has never feuded with Kenny Omega since he got kicked out of the group, and that is like that is appointment viewing if they can do an AJ Kenny feud. Like, you threw me out of this group, that you can include the Bucks involved. There could be a lot of interesting things. I think if he would do New Japan, I don't know if he would like if Tsuji's the champion in a year from now, would he, would AJ want to be like, I'm here for like a belt? Like, I'm not sure that is like the way to go. But yeah, like a Gabe Kidd match, because I think Gabe is, based on what we've seen, I think he's signed to both companies. I think at this point, I think he clearly has a deal with both AEW and New Japan at this point. So I think he can work Gabe Kidd, but I agree with you. There's not like a dream matches anymore for him in New Japan as much. Like, I think if any,
a lot of those guys have migrated to AEW now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, is there a Zack Sabre Jr. maybe a possibility? I don't know. I agree with you. I think Tsuji and Kidd are like two people I would think of. Does he see that worth going back there to have another run? I think it'll be very New Japan. I got to be honest, would beg for it at this point. And let's get into why Blackhawk. And that is because they have just a boatload of wrestlers leaving the company. The big headline this week was Hiromu Takahashi leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. This comes after Evil officially left the company 2 weeks ago. Clark Connors is signing with AEW. Now, again, I still think that will allow Clark Connors to still work New Japan, but he will now be mostly working like very similar to what Takeshita. He'll mostly be working AEW. Gabe Kidd is now going to be working a lot more AEW dates as well. Drill Maloney is up in the air because he literally actually just got hurt, very serious pectoral injury, but that he is working throughout New Beginning to finish off the tour. But he posted himself with an NXT UK poster alluding to he may be leaving the company to WWE. David Finlay is rumored to be leaving the company. There's just a lot of people leaving like a mass exodus that we really haven't seen since 2019 at the beginning of AEW. So I guess let's just focus in right now before we get to the grand scheme of things. Let's just focus on Hiromu. Were you shocked to see the fact that he's leaving the company? And where do you think his ideal destination now would be?
I'm not shocked. I had a feeling that this would happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I didn't include him in the video I posted on my YouTube channel about these. Because it was almost a done deal. Like when he started working Noah dates, I had a feeling that either his New Japan contract was already up and he was just taking dates.
Yeah.
Or it was going to be up soon and he would probably be joining Naito and Bushi in Noah. And I forget their new guy's name. I can't remember what they're calling him. They have a new member. Let's see.
Sorry, say this again. Sorry.
There's a new member of the group.
And know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, he's not in Noah technically. He's just part of Los Tranquilos.
There you go.
I couldn't think of the name of it. What is his name? He's having his debut Noah match, or he had it today. I think. No. Yes, he had it today. Yeah, because today's the first day of the junior tournament.
There you go. But again, as you said, Hiromu worked Noah for the back half of last year. He was the GHC. He was like the cruiserweight
junior heavyweight.
Junior heavyweight champion. He defended it a lot of times in New Japan as well. He's getting a pretty, I don't know, like not a BS, but like a weird send-off match at New Beginning where he's tagging with Taiji against JAY and Akira. I was like, okay, it's like a weird send-off match for basically one of their top junior heavyweights of the last decade or more. He has had a lot of serious injuries. He had a very serious neck injury a couple years ago. I'm not sure he's gotten back to like top tier Hiromu level. I will say post the Kyle Fletcher match at Forbidden Door, he had a really strong end to 2025. He had that. He had a really good run, as we said, in Noah. He also had a really good tag run with David Finlay in World Tag League this year. This new faction might have like no people in it. Unbound Company. Like it's like Tsuji, Gato, Taiji Ishimori, and like Gabe Kidd. Like I don't know who else is in this group right now.
Shingo
as well. Yeah, Shingo. But yeah, this turned into maybe this is why they're destroying Bullet Clubs, because I don't think any of these guys are staying in the company. But I think Hiromu, there've been rumors about just doing full-time Noah, which would make sense if he doesn't get like the correct look in WWE. I don't know, like junior heavyweights from New Japan have never gone well in WWE. Usually, like it just does. They don't get booked very well. I don't know what the ceiling is for a Hiromu Takahashi in WWE. Like Evil has, like for example, like Evil has like relationships with people in WWE. Significant other. He has other people he's friends with. It would be weird for WWE to sign a 36-year-old kind of past his, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I think he's still a really good wrestler, but to them, someone who is not in peak form or past his prime, whatever they think, I just don't know what you do with him on the main. If he feels like an NXT like another body in NXT where he could have good matches with people. I just don't know what the ceiling is for him. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I were him, if I want to be booked like anywhere near like he is in New Japan, I would do Noah. But again, money talks as well, and he could be getting the payday of his career if he gets an offer from WWE. So we really haven't heard the same things. Like Evil, it seems like a slam dunk. He's going to WWE. Hiromu, we have not heard like this is just like a slam dunk. They're going to offer him a big money and he'll go there. You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on that, Blackhawk?
Yeah, he falls into that trap of, he's a Japanese wrestler who's very popular, but what do we do with him?
Yeah.
That it seems like they fell into with Shinsuke Nakamura, a handful of other people that they had, like
Kenta, too.
Kushida, Kenta.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, these guys are, people love them in Japan. Why don't we, give them a bunch of money and then not really use them? And so I hope that doesn't happen to him. I think he still has a lot of potential for a lot of really good matches on the roster with who they've got on there. I would enjoy, WWE trying to do a junior heavyweight division. I think they have the roster to do it, but it would be like a far stretch from what they've been doing recently. And so I don't think they will.
Like the speed titles. Like if you if you bring back the cruiserweight title, just I agree with you. I agree. That's a good point. Kenta, they brought a lot of guys who were top guys in Japan, but then I do think Hiromu more than those guys is really good. Like he doesn't have to. He speaks like fine English, not really that good. I would say, but he out of all the Japanese guys, he does a good job of like very similar to Io Sky. Like he can really emote a lot and put on these crazy outfits. And
he stands out for sure. So it's like he's not going to have a problem standing out. That's not going to be a problem at all. They're not going to change. I doubt they'll change anything about his gimmick because it's just wacky and crazy and they don't have anything like it.
Yep. So I think Noah makes sense. I think it's a slam dunk for him. For example, if for some reason he wants to, maybe he's nervous about WWE and the money isn't enough, maybe he works Noah for the year. Maybe there's a point where he can work NXT for like a month, right? Do an excursion. And if it works for him over there, he can work in WWE maybe in 2027. Like Shawn Michaels likes him a lot or something. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like if there's not an offer there, he can work Noah. There's a relationship there. He can maybe get a look later in the year. I just don't see him like signed WWE. I just don't know what he would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, NXT, we talk about the like every podcast. They need bodies. They really do. Especially if you look at their NXT title match they just had on Tuesday. Like they just have a lot of unknown guys now working on top of the card. And they lost a lot of top guys. It's good to get Japanese, like experienced workers working with inexperienced guys they're developing in the Performance Center. So for that reason, sure, Hiromu's a really good worker. He can work with a lot of these guys. I just don't know what the ceiling is for him. Like, does he see himself? He wants to be a champion, or who knows?
Exactly.
At that point, though, it just feels like every week we get a new story about a guy leaving the company.
I think we'll get that for another month or two.
This show
at least one a week.
It's going to have huge implications because let's get into New Beginning for this purpose. Finley is wrestling Callum Newman. We assume Finley's going to lose and leave the company after this match. Drew Maloney's hurt. So even if once he does this match next week, he's going to be out for a little bit. But we also think he's more likely leaving the company.
Right.
Connors is not on the show. He's working AEW now. Gabe Kidd is on the show, but he's also wrestling Andrade, who are also both AEW people as well at this point. I just can't remember again, it's been since 2019, like the January 2019, where just a mass exodus of New Japan people left for AEW. This roster is getting pretty depleted here. Blackhawk at this point.
Right. And you got to ask, they have young lions and they do a really good job with those guys.
They're going on excursion.
They're not. Yeah, they're going on excursion. So they're going to have to pull talent out of somewhere. They're going to have to start shopping around and start paying some people a little bit of cash to show up on their shows.
Yeah.
Not that people won't. This is New Japan. This is the biggest wrestling company in Japan. Probably one of the top 5 in the world, if I
Yeah.
would have to guess. It shouldn't be that hard just on name recognition alone. But you have to beat out some of these other competitors for this talent. Like, you could go to Dragon Gate, grab a couple of guys from Dragon Gate, because I haven't watched any of the full shows, but I've watched a couple of their most recent matches.
Yeah.
They've been pretty good. And so they
Rising
would do
company.
really well on New Japan.
Yeah.
Noah, I don't think you really grab anybody out of Noah because Noah's got a slim roster already. Dragon Gate's kind of got a slim roster too, but there's like places you've got to start looking, especially if you're in country. And while you're in the US, people are going to be running shows frequently while you're in the US. You've got to take a look at a couple of people and try to get them signed contracts and show up on your shows.
Yeah, this is the most reliant they've been on AEW since their relationship has begun. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but Suji's facing Jake Lee, and you don't really see any other top people right now. You'd think being put in that spot. Maybe that's a Callum Newman. Once he beats a David Finlay, maybe he gets put into the main title picture. But yeah, it's very weird. What's also weird, by the way, is Finlay also seems like a slam dunk, but now the reports are he also is going to is very interested in AEW, which I find really interesting.
Yeah.
Because WWE seemed like a slam dunk. His dad is obviously a legend there. His brother wrestles for NXT as Uriah Connors, and they are teasing. Uriah Connors just joined the faction with Lexus King and Stax and Ariana Grace, which is a faction basically based on people with dads in pro wrestling. So I don't know if that's setting anything up in particular, but
God, I hope not.
Hopefully Finlay doesn't
God, I
lead.
hope not.
Finlay's not leading a group with those people in the group. But
yes.
But I
would hope he signed to AEW over that, please.
It's weird because they did call Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors the War Dogs on Dynamite this week. I was like, that's interesting because they're not the War Dogs anymore. Saturday, they did say they are part of Unbound Company, but then on Wednesday, like, the War Dogs are attacking Darby Allin. I was like, oh, okay, so are they? I don't know. I think Finlay if they could keep the War Dogs going in AEW technically.
But then it doesn't make it like, what was the point of
the
joint? Yeah.
I know.
I still think he lands in WWE. I haven't seen any official report that he's in talks with AEW. It's just been a lot of fan speculation at least from what I've seen. And so that means zero. And I've heard from actual sources that WWE has a lot of interest in him.
Yes.
AEW might not have that much interest in him. So it just might be the thing. Clark Connors got signed. And people were saying, oh, they're going to pull David Finlay in now. I was like, I don't think that's enough.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think AEW is just going to sign all 4 guys. I don't.
Yeah. I think Clark Connors is really good, but he was nowhere near what David Finlay was doing with the War Dogs. Like, he was a background character at best.
Yeah.
He's a great wrestler, but he was not in any part of any main story.
Yes.
And so they're not at the same level of attraction. And so I think that it was a long shot for Clark Connors to go to WWE. And I always said that I thought if Drilla and David go, Clark would go. But yeah, I think Drilla lands there. I think David Finlay lands there.
Yeah.
Evil will land there. I'm not completely sold on Hiromu.
I really am
landing there. But I think if a large group are going, Hiromu might, join. Naito has been trying to get into US wrestling. Naito and Bushi might make the jump to the Fed.
if I'm watching them on NXT every week, I don't know what I'll do with myself because sometimes Tuesdays can be a rough watch.
They got guys who can't walk on NXT now.
Exactly. Oh my god. And now I don't even want to do my Tuesdays and Thursday night wrestling can be rough sometimes. I'll just say that out loud. But I just find it depressing as a New Japan fan that they are losing out on a lot of talent. They have gone just so cheap over the last 3 years, I would say. Really pandemic around that time, but they just gone real cheap. And they are finally gonna this. If they don't learn a lesson from this, I don't know how they will, because they're gonna have to pay people now to stay. Like, they are losing out on these people going to America, not just to go to America. It's a money thing why these people are leaving the company. Back in the day, people would stay in New Japan for a very long time. American wrestlers, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, Ospreay was in New Japan for a very long time. Omega was in New Japan for a very long time. Even AJ, people act like it was a blip. He was there for like 3 years, which is a pretty long run for an American wrestler to have in Japan. It's very sad. This is going to be a weird show on Wednesday to watch, because it's not like a funeral, but they have like 4 or 5 guys on this show who feel like this could be their last New Japan show, like, realistically.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Let's get into the show.
One other thing.
I
don't know if you saw, but New Japan didn't sign Shane Haste either.
I know.
That's crazy. Like, TMDK is like,
I haven't seen
dropping
both of them
members
on TV in a while.
Yeah. Well, I saw somebody said that Shane Haste hadn't been on New Japan for a year.
Him and Mikey haven't been on TV in a long time.
And so that's kind of crazy, especially with the positioning TMDK was at the beginning of the year to begin with, and through the middle of the year with Zach at the top. Kind of crazy not to have full force TMDK, but
yeah,
I don't know what's going on with that either. Like, TMDK now has 4 members in the company?
Fujita, Oiwa, Zach, and Hartley. Yeah. 4, right?
So they've only got 4. If you go to their Wikipedia,
Robbie Eagles,
right, yeah. If you go to their Wikipedia page, there's like 10 members, 10 current members.
And then, and for example, another guy who they hadn't used in a year, TJP, who was the leader of the United Empire without a contract. He was on AAA. He worked AAA last week.
He's signed with WWE.
Basically under the WWE umbrella again. I was watching AAA. I was like, TJP. I was like, this is like, I was like, what is going on? They have gone away with not having guys under contracts and using them for a while, because some of these guys were desperate. The pay per appearance thing was very worthy for them for New Japan. New Japan needs contracts for these people now. We discussed it last week, or 2 weeks ago. Like, how can they keep making Wrestle Kingdom the show where everyone's done with the company? Because it's supposed to be the show where they get momentum. Like,
right.
After such a big show, you want sustainability. But this is the 1 year they don't have anything sustainable. The main event guys are not in the company wrestling. Okada's in AEW, Tanahashi's retired, and they have a bunch of guys leaving like Evil, who's in the 3rd most important match. He is gone. What a weird time for them. It's gonna be a very good, very fascinating next couple of weeks, because I think we're gonna see a lot of guys jumping ships. So we will see. But I think it's time to break down the show here, because I am excited for the show, because for in ring wise, this should be a very good show. So the show is starting with a Katsuya Morishima, who's a young lion. He is beginning his excursion after this match. It's him and Shoma Kato, both young lions. Both are going on excursion. Those are their 2 easily top young lions. They're both leaving the company for a bit.
Did they say where Morishima was going?
I do not remember. Shoma's going to Mexico, I know for sure.
Yeah, I know that one for sure. I don't think they ever announced where Morishima was going.
Good question. I, for some reason, remembered them saying, and now I don't remember what they said. Like, I remember them saying he's going somewhere, and then I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember. They're facing Yano and Makabe. Sure. Then we're getting the Hiromu Takahashi send-off, which is just him and Taiji Ishimori wrestling Jay and Akira. Now, the moment I realized Hiromu was leaving, the last Road to New Beginning show, it was like him, Gato. There were other people in the tag match. And I was like, okay, so Gato's usually in these tag matches to get pinned. And when Hiromu got pinned, I was like, what? So I was like, Hiromu is getting pinned in an 8-man tag when Gato is wrestling. I was like, this is really weird. And literally an hour later, when I started watching the show, Hiromu leaving New Japan, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense why he's taking a pin in this match. United Empire push as you said, you wanted to see it. It's
Yeah.
going to take over the show for the most part. Not in the main event, I think, but for the
Yeah.
middle part of this show, it will. I think
A
JAY.
majority of the show is Unbound Company versus United Empire.
Those are like the only two like big factions. Like you have
Yeah.
TMDK, and they are still doing House of Torture without Evil.
Yeah.
Now they don't even have a lot of factions anymore either, which is really weird.
Yeah.
So you agree Akira, JAY are going to win that match as well? Because I think
I have
take the pin to go on the way out as well, probably.
Yeah, I have a feeling that'll be the way to go.
Yeah, and then also Okan and Hanare are going to face Drilla and Shingo. As I said, I think Drilla tore something. It was his pec or something he tore. I forget what he tore, but he said he was going to finish the tour and then afterwards start his rehab. So I'm very sad that he is hurt. But again, this is another Unbound Company losing to United Empire, I think.
I don't know. I think Shingo and Drilla win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
Drilla's getting pinned. I think this is his last. Again, this is another guy. His last maybe match for New Japan.
Yeah, I think Shingo and Drilla will take this one because they're not gonna do full United Empire takeover.
Oh, I don't. They are until the very
end. Well, I don't think they'll do majority United Empire takeover. How about that? I think Drilla, Maloney, and Shingo they have a lot of fans for this team. You know, they've even released merch for this team.
They did,
just them specifically. And so I was like, I don't see them losing this. Even if Drill is on his way out, I don't see them losing this one.
Okay. I love when we disagree. I think it's fun. Let's get into the 6-man title match. Third time we're seeing this already. Oleg, Hashi, and Goto against TMDK. I don't want to see a TMDK win. I think Zach needs to be doing other things. It was cool. Like, I guess it was like, let's give Zach a win I think that's what it was. Let's give Zach a win at the Tokyo Dome because he had such a great year. He's not in a big match. Let's just get him a win, showing how much we love and respect him and all of this stuff. Like, rewarding him for really carrying the company for 2025. But I don't think, I think Oleg and Goto and Hashi are going to retain the titles here. What do you think as well here?
Yeah, I agree. This is another thing we were talking about with Shane Hayes is like Team DK has a ton of members. Why are we, sticking with Zach in the trios now? Like you could have pulled a handful of people out and just maybe given them a 2-week-long contract just to run this.
Yeah.
And then they go their own way. And Zach is somewhere in the top of the card where he deserves to be. But yeah, I think Bishamon and Oleg walk out of there with that one.
I think they're a good trio too, because look, Bishamon, how many more times can you watch them in the tag division? And Oleg had a good run with the never open weight title, but again, if he's not doing anything, might as well just make it like sometimes it's what the trio titles are for. Is if people aren't doing anything or you're tired of seeing them do the same thing, they're a good trio as well.
I agree.
The match will be really good, but yeah, I think Zach. I'm not sure Zach needs like the world title. Again, that's the problem though. Suji has the top 2 singles titles, right? So it's tough to see where Zach fits, but maybe Aaron Wolf. We'll talk about that in a bit. Gabe Kidd Andrade. The winner of this match is wrestling Suji for the Global Heavyweight Championship. I love Gabe, as everyone knows. He really should not be winning this match. I have seen Gabe Kidd versus Yota Tsuji for the Global Heavyweight title like 5 times last year. They're in the same faction. I don't need to see them wrestling. Andrade is getting an unbelievable push in AEW right now. He literally just is coming off wins over Omega and Swerve. What's also crazy, which no one has talked about, is he's wrestling the show in Japan on the 11th, and then he's going to be in Australia wrestling on the 14th.
Yeah.
He is really flying around the world next week. I don't know if he's going to be on Dynamite, but he could be in the US, Australia, and Japan in a span of like 5 or 6 days. So
I think Australia and Japan are on like very close time zones, so it wouldn't be that like crazy.
I don't know what a flight would look like from Australia to Japan. Like, I don't know if that's like a
Yeah.
mega. All of
Yeah, that might be a crazy flight.
I'm gonna look it up as I'm talking to you. But what are your thoughts on this match with Andrade and Gabe?
Yeah, I think Andrade has to win this. So we're not rehashing the same things over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's a new year. We need to, as good as the Gabe Kid and Yota Tsuji matches are, it's time to move on. Time to do something a little bit different here.
Yeah.
And Andrade's going crazy in AEW. He's being booked like he should be booked because
Yes.
he is a pop star. And so I think he walks out of this a winner, and we see him in Jersey.
I think it's so cool that people really have never seen him as a top guy. They've been if you're a WWE person, especially just if you watch the main roster, you would have no idea he would ever be seen as a top guy. But Tony really has believed in him in this second run.
Yeah.
I know it's weird to say. I think he's a really good chance to be Hangman. I think him and MJF.
I do too.
I could see them running him and MJF like for real
Yeah.
in LA. I think he's also. I'm not trying to make this culture thing, but also in LA, he's very with a lot of the Lucha Libre fans in Los Angeles. That's another good attraction for him to be put in the main event. I could see it. I could see Hangman, Kenny, and Swerve doing non-title things at Revolution, and him doing the world title. Like I really can see that.
100%.
Especially like if Kenny's not on the show, maybe they have Swerve and Hangman do something, or Swerve versus Omega, or Swerve and Hangman going for the tag titles, and maybe Andrade gets the world title shot. With that being said, Andrade should beat Gabe Kidd.
100%.
In this scenario. Finley, Callum Newman. I think this is Finley's send-off match. We knew this at Wrestle Kingdom. They were setting up Callum versus Finley. This was all to put this is the year, I think, of Callum Newman. He's going to be the number one guy for United Empire this year. Because I think not just is he going to beat David Finley, he is going to get a match with Will Ospreay either this year or at the Tokyo Dome in January. He's going to have a huge year. He is going to get the win here. And then we'll be fantasy booking David Finley after this match. But what are your thoughts, Blackhawk, on Finley and Newman here?
Yeah, I think this is a good send-out match because Callum will give Finley a good match, one, and Callum needs a big win over a big name to kind of solidify himself as a threat, I guess, in the heavyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to take that leadership spot from Jake Lee, Andrade, whoever is really calling the shots in United Empire right now. It seems like they're pushing for Jake Lee to be that guy. But they're also like Andrade's the financial backer, and like it's just like I don't know who's really in charge.
Yeah.
But they've got to build Callum Newman up, step by step. They can't just throw him into the top with a group of vets like that when he's still kind of not really tested.
I agree. I think if this is a match where Finley puts him over and it gets Callum a notable, he hasn't really beat a notable name in a while. So it'll make him legit. And as I said, I think this is where United Empire really is on a roll, especially if Andrade wins as well. Again, hopefully they explain what Andrade is doing with the group. That would be nice. He's in the Don Callis family. So what does that mean? Aaron Wolf.
Don Callis, United Empire.
Yes, Aaron Wolf is still feuding with the House of Torture because he's wrestling Red Narita, who is taken over for Evil, leading House of Torture. Aaron Wolf is going to win this match, and hopefully he does something fresh after this. It's been all House of Torture this month to start 2026 for him. Aaron Wolf, who's been good.
Yep.
They've used him smartly.
Very good.
He's just been in these tag matches. So this is his second singles match. So I'm excited to see what the improvement has been post-Evil match, but he's very over with these crowds since he's been in New Japan. So excited to see his second outing, Blackhawk.
Yeah, I think he'll walk away with this. I would love to see him take on Bolton Oleg.
Yeah, dude.
That would be a really, really good match. Yeah. I think there's a lot of just random guys you could throw in for the never open weight.
Yeah,
that would just be really fun matches for Aaron Wolf, especially as fresh as he is with his career, it'd be a lot of new things.
Mhm.
And so I would be excited to see him get out of the House of Torture vortex. Because I feel like if Renardo loses this, we might start seeing the House of Torture fall apart.
I hope.
Maybe,
Moxley, are you hearing this?
yeah, we could be seeing the end of House of Torture very soon, and so it would get Aaron Wolf out of that bubble while also giving all of those guys something to do.
I'm with you. I don't need this group anymore, especially because United Empire is going to be the number one bad guy heel for the company this year. So where does that leave House of Torture? And they've been the number one heel stable for a long time now. So we shall see. This is the most toss-up match for me on the whole show. Yuta Weiss and Oscar defending against Uemura and Umino. I am thinking they are doing a title change. I think they're going to have Uemura and Shota win. I think there's not a lot of hot babyface tag teams more for Yuto and for Yuto Weiss and Oscar to wrestle in New Japan. Because look, I think we agree Bishamon is staying in the trios division. TMDK maybe, but again, Haste and Nichols are not really there right now, so they don't really have like a regular heavyweight tag team for them to face, unless it's like Zach and someone, which we don't need to see Zach doing tag team stuff at this point. I think they're gonna pull the trigger on Yu Uemura and Shota, because again, Tsuji is a babyface champion for the main two titles, so I don't really see a path. And also Aaron Wolf, you have all the singles guys being babyface champions right now. I think give Yuya and Shota something to do, which is the tag title. So I actually think, because I think this would be the only title change on the show. I think they're going to pull the trigger. And we also forgot Yuta Weiss and Oscar are in Unbound Company as well. But I think they'll do other things. So I think Uemura and Umino, new champions. Blackhawk, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they would run this as often as they have without any kind of change. And so I feel like if you're gonna do it, now is the time.
Yeah.
Especially with how they've kind of been pushing the tag division earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a lot of people are ready to step up and make the tag division mean something. And so I think the first step would be crowning new champions to kind of refresh the board, I guess you could say, for matches. And Yuto Ice and Oscar are going to hold that again probably before the end of the year.
Sure.
So it's not like a huge loss for them. As well as I think we'll see Yuto Ice and Oscar in AEW at some point this year.
Yeah.
Probably hold one of their tag belts.
Sure.
So I wouldn't be surprised because they're crazy over everywhere they go.
They were rumored to go to WWE at the end of 2025, but they are staying in New Japan. So, hey, New Japan got a win over. They got some people.
That was a big one for them.
Staying, yeah. Tsuji, Jake Lee. I have struggled to care about this match. They have been like, Tsuji's been doing promos like, "You're not worthy enough to wrestle me," and then all of a sudden, like, "You are getting this match." I'm like, how do we go from in one promo? In the same promo, he'll be like, "You're not worthy, but you're getting a match." I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. Jake Lee, I know you're a big Jake Lee fan. He's not totally like the I don't give a crap gimmick doesn't really work for me. And it also doesn't fit with the group. Like, I don't know. As of now, I'm not vibing with him in United Empire. Because I agree with you. I think Callum needs to be the number one guy, like the clear leader of the group. And it's like, they don't really seem like anyone's the leader. It's just Jake's in the main event spot right now. So maybe when he loses and Callum gets a big win, I don't know. But Tsuji is not losing this title on his first defense post Wrestle Kingdom. He's going to beat Jake Lee. Blackhawk, what are your thoughts on Tsuji and Jake Lee?
Yeah, as much as I love Jake Lee, Tsuji will walk out of here the champ. Especially with the show in Jersey. Tsuji is a much better known name than Jake Lee in the States. And so it'd be easier to sell tickets if Sushi's still champion in the States.
He's gonna be on the show in
But
Jersey.
yeah. And so yeah, I love Jake Lee, but this isn't his time to win the belt. But I did see something interesting earlier this week.
Okay.
If he does win it like now, he will be the youngest person to win all heavyweight belts in All Japan, New Japan, and Noah.
Jake Lee, you're talking about?
Yep.
Oh God.
Because he won Triple Crown. Can't remember what year it was. And he was GHC in 24. I think Triple Crown was like 22, maybe.
Okay.
GHC was 24, and then it would be 2026 for the IGWP or IWGP.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's a very fascinating stat. Luckily, I think it does not matter.
Well, I think he's got a couple years to complete it. So I think
okay. Then it does matter.
Like he'll probably do it. He'll probably be the youngest person to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's Jake Lee,
it's
then.
just like anytime he competes for it, it could happen. That's like he could become the youngest, not Triple Crown because that's part of All Japan.
Sure.
But I don't even know what you would call that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good what. Yeah, well, guess what? You're gonna have plenty of time, Blackhawk, to create something because Jake Lee is not winning this title on Wednesday. If he was,
True.
you have to
Very
finish.
true.
What is the name of what happens when Jake Lee's not winning this title? I would be really mad if he does. I do think Suji, when he faces Andrade, should lose.
Because I think it's just for the international title, right?
It's just for the global title.
Yeah. No, 100% should lose that to Andrade.
I don't want him with the two main belts for like a while. Like,
right.
They didn't unify it. So if you're not going to unify it, drop one of the titles. And it's not the world title. So I would have him drop the global title and to Andrade. And that would be, Andrade is going to be booked on such a high level for
to the moon
in the world. So good for him. He bet on himself leaving WWE again. And I think this one is going to be a career-changing year for him. So very exciting.
Yeah, he bet on himself to leave AEW and thought, maybe
the first time.
Yeah. Grass will be greener on the other side with WWE. And then they had him, he had a really good run with Carmelo Hayes.
That was
and then nothing came of it. That was it.
And he was tagging with Phoenix.
Yeah, he was tagging with Phoenix because it was really good. And then they just stopped doing that. Because I think Phoenix got hurt. And they were just done with Andrade after that.
Yep.
And so he's finally getting the attention he deserves.
Let's end the show talking about the big announcement to New Japan's New Beginning show here in the United States in New Jersey. Not just as the ELP versus Konosuke Takeshita and Bolton Oleg versus Tomohiro Ishii. They have added Shuri versus Athena for the IWGP Women's title. That is by far the biggest match they have on the show so far. This is a massive. These are two of probably the top 5 or 6 best women's wrestlers in the world. Athena did wrestle in Stardom the beginning of 2025 because she wrestled at Wrestle Dynasty, the AEW New Japan event at the Tokyo Dome. Then she stayed in Stardom for a week. She calls herself the Joshi something. She gave her all these nicknames. That is a massive match, Blackhawk. Athena, who is, again, she is the forever ROH Women's Champion, still has not lost this title yet in 600 something days. It's been 3 or 4 years she's had this title for. Now she's going to wrestle Shuri for the IWGP Women's Championship. Now I'm now I got to look for more tickets again. I am they've only announced 3 matches. The show is this month on the 27th, which is 3 weeks from tonight is this show. And as you said, Suji is supposedly on the show. Am I wrong? Didn't they say Finley was going to be on this show as well? I could be totally wrong, actually. Now,
yeah, he was announced to be on the show. So I don't know what he's going to be doing because I was joking that he would just get done with the Jersey show and then move on down to Orlando.
You did say that, and that makes a lot of sense. Why not? Stay on the East Coast. if I were him, I would be like, I'll take my Callum match, and that's a good. Let's just get out of here. Type of match. Athena and Shuri, though. Sorry, to get back to it. What are your thoughts on that match?
I think it's a great match. It melds, New Japan and American wrestling very well.
Yeah.
Including, being AEW, and American AEW wrestler to be, specific. And it's one of the best that they have on the roster that fits that category.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing for the show is selling tickets. I think that's their big push for the show is we want to make sure there's still an American crowd for New Japan.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll see a few more AEW names announced in the future for the show.
Okay. Yeah, because right
just
now
to get some,
and
yes,
yeah.
Yeah, and so I think we'll get a few more just to kind of push name recognition, because I think the point of it is to get AEW fans that may not be watching New Japan in, show them New Japan at their best, and then hope that they continue on watching on the app.
Yeah, I think it's if I'm not mistaken, it's like 3,000 seats for the arena, and they've sold around 1,500 or 1,600 seats. So there's still around like 1,300, 1,400 seats left. Now, again, there's plenty of time. There's 3 weeks until the show happens. I'm going to look into tickets probably next week to see if I can make it. It is like a 30-hour drive from where I live in Philadelphia because it's in New Jersey. So I would love to be there to cover the show. If you can't, by the way, be at the show, it's a $19.99 pay-per-view on New Japan World, which for pay-per-views these days is extremely
really good. Really
good. Actually, the cheapest one you can get, because WWE technically is $30 if you have ESPN Unlimited. Obviously, AEW is still $40 for HBO Max, $50 for regular pay-per-view. Even TNA is $40 for pay-per-view. So you're really getting a good deal to watch that New Japan America show. The only problem is they do run that show pretty late, like past midnight, usually East Coast time. So it would be a long night. But Takeshi ELP, they have great chemistry. Ishii and Oleg seems like they're going to beat the crap out of each other type match.
Yeah.
And Athena and Shuri. And again, Tsuji is supposedly on the show. They didn't say he's like defending the title or anything, but he's just going to be on the show. Like I would main event with the women based on this card so far, but I don't know what they're doing. Like would they run? I don't think they are. I think they announced what date Tsuji and Andrade would be. I don't think that would be maybe that is the American show. I forget what they said. Like what
I think it is the American show.
Maybe that would main event the show. Tsuji and Andrade. Yeah, you're right. New Japan has not been in America now in over a year, because they stopped working those American shows towards the beginning of 2025. I think they ran a show in early, so I guess it's been like 8-9 months. But they're heavily going back to America this year. They're going to Vegas for WrestleMania weekend, and they're doing Chicago for the G1. So they want to, and it's not just with New Japan Strong. They want the New Japan brand in the States. So you're right. With the talent going away, they're going to really rely on AEW relationship to get people in the seats, I think. Gabe Kidd, I think, is also supposed to be on the show, so he'll probably wrestle as well because he's already in the States. At this point. So I think it's gonna be a fun show. Hopefully, again, I think regardless, we're gonna have a review of that on the podcast. It's either gonna be like a live post show or a regular podcast. Because if I'm going to the show, I'm gonna be up until I won't be back to my apartment until 1-2 in the morning. So I don't think I have time to just do we're not gonna do a podcast that early. It's not Wrestle Kingdom. We're not staying up all night.
Right.
But we can do it next day, because it is a Friday night show. So we could probably do one on Sunday or Monday, because the next day is Elimination Chamber.
Right.
So we'll do a post show soon. But Blackhawk, that was a really fun. We had a bunch of news to talk about. What are your let everyone know where they can find you on social media and what you do for Body Slam as well, and promote your podcast as well, Blackhawk.
Yeah. So you can find me at Blackhawk Walker on all platforms. Instagram is the Blackhawk Walker, though. If you find just regular Blackhawk Walker, you won't find anything about wrestling on there. It's just my personal Instagram. But the Blackhawk Walker will have Instagram or wrestling things on there. You can find me on YouTube at Black Hawk Walker. I do a podcast over there as well as other assortment of videos. But the podcast is the Emerald Arc, focusing on Noah.
Yeah.
So this week we'll talk about Monday Magic and the first day of the junior tournament, or junior tag tournament. So that should be pretty exciting. And then for Body Slam, obviously I do this, and I make the clips that we post on our social media. So make sure to go find those and like those on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the places you can post short form videos.
Yeah, we're getting some consistent views, especially on TikTok lately. So definitely keep
Yeah.
follow us on social media. Blackhawk will post clips basically every day. This feels like there's a new clip on Body Slam, so definitely stay tuned. I do highs and lows for bodyslam.net. So I break down Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and Collision. So tune in around whenever time I put up the SmackDown highs and lows tonight. I also do all the post shows for WWE and AEW here for Body Slam. So if you want to check out Rami and I's very ranty post show of the Royal Rumble, we were ranting up a storm on Saturday afternoon after Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. So tune into that. This month, Rami and I are back because it is the Elimination Chamber on the 28th. So we'll be doing a full post show of that. And Blackhawk is going to probably be back with me next month, early March. Revolution AEW pay-per-view in LA. We'll be back for the AEW post show. Our first AEW post show in 2026. Weird. They don't have a pay-per-view until March. They take the first 2 months off with no pay-per-views. So once Revolution happens, then we'll be on a roll like every other month or every month back doing AEW post shows again. But I miss doing AEW post shows, honestly. Except we're going to be up all night because it doesn't start until 8 o'clock. So it's going to be an all-nighter for Blackhawk and I. Once again, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Max Dinnenberg. Please, again, follow Body Slam across all of our platforms. And also, please subscribe to Body Slam's Patreon. Blake exclusive wrestling news. We had the exclusive on the rundown for the Royal Rumble. We had the exclusive name that Powerhouse Hobbs was going to use in WWE. Body Slam breaks all of those type of pro wrestling news to help support everyone here at Body Slam. So please subscribe. Daily news every day on Patreon. So for Blackhawk, I am Max Dinnenberg. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next Friday for another episode of Tour of Japan. See you guys soon.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.